Hello, this is Nick of Craft and Knickknacks. Welcome to my channel. So today I want to share with you my process of how I migrate to a new bullet journal and how I set up my September 2019. I basically just copied the first few pages of my old bullet journal into the new one. I made a plan with me video at the start of the year showing me writing down my goals. That's basically what I'm doing here. I rewrite them at the start of every journal so I don't forget. I also always dedicate a page for counting the number of spaces and lines in a page. I also mark the middle space and middle line of the page. This makes it really handy when I'm trying new layouts in my bullet journal. This way, I don't always have to count when planning new layouts. I hate doing the math of it, but I also hate counting it again and again. So this page makes it actually handy because all the information is already there and I just need to do the math. Yuck. And then next, I set up the calendar for the next 12 months. I don't know why I put this in this part of my bullet journal, but this is where I list down the details of my goals for the year and goals for the decade. Yes, I have goals for the decade. And then here, I just recreate my future log, copy all the dates and events that were in my previous bullet journal. It really is just migrating all the events listed in my previous bullet journal. I'm just copying the layout from my previous bullet journal because I'm too lazy to think of a new way to show my future log. I like using highlighters in my calendar, so I'm just highlighting the dates with the events and then listing the actual event on the other side. And then here, I'm transferring those coupons that I have that I'm going to use for the rest of the year. This is a new spread for what I would like to call my startup pages. It's just listing of things to help me achieve one of my goals for the year. It's more specific than the other pages. If you noticed, I'm really big on achieving my goals. Okay, so now we're starting my September monthly pages, and what I'm doing now is making a water drop mask. I'm going to color my entire page with distress ink, and what this mask will do is leave a space with this shape uncolored. And then the paper where I cut the water drop from, I'm using it as a mask to color the water drop a different color. So for this month, I decided to combine themes. I'm doing a rainy, faith-related theme. I tore out a page from an old daily devotion book and colored it with distress ink to give it a vintage effect. And then I wrote out my favorite quote, "I will be still and know you are God." On the next page, I started making my calendar. Since this is a new journal, I'm trying out different ways on how to space this calendar. Since I hate doing math, I just figured, I'll just try making different lines. To make it easy to write and erase, I just put small marks on the corners. I mean, they're so small, you can't even see them on this video. But these tiny corner markings serve as like the skeleton of my calendar, and it helps me see the final layout without committing to writing all those lines. And then once I'm satisfied with the skeleton graft, I finally line it with my pen. I did a tip Tuesday about this corner markings, and I'll link the video down below in case you want to check that video out. I actually made a lapse of judgment here where I figured, you know what, I'll just pen the corner markings that I made because it looks nice, the skeleton looks nice, but I figured after I penned everything that it looks confusing, especially when I start writing the events down. So I still inked the whole thing. I felt lazy inking the whole thing at first, but what happened is I doubled the effort. So guess lesson learned for me. And then for decorating or adding a pop of color, I love using my Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens on my monthly calendars. I don't know why, but I noticed I love using them or watercolor for decorating my calendar pages. And then to keep with the theme, I ripped bits of paper from the same paper that I used in my cover page to serve as the headers for this area of my calendar. Same with the cover page, I'm going to distress these pages with the same color that I used. You'll see me putting glue on these things. This is so that when I distress them, they will stick on the mat and not fly away or curl or rip or whatever when I do the distressing motion on them. I'm making the paper repositionable, so after I'm done distressing them, I can peel them and then stick them to the journal again. In case you're curious what glue I used, I did a feature Wednesday about it, and I'll link the video down below in case you want to check it out. So now I'm sticking these bits of paper back to my journal. You see me adding more glue to make them stick to the pages more. This is because I'll be flipping through this page a lot and I don't want them to fall off. And then using a white jelly roll, I think this is a 0.5, I'm writing down the headers or the titles for the different sections of this monthly calendar spread. I'm actually quite surprised with this jelly roll. When you write it, it seems so translucent, but after a while or after it dries, it becomes more vibrant. Have you noticed that with the jelly roll, or is this just my imagination? And then next, I'm using my zebra uni pen to write the dates on the calendar. I actually prefer this pen instead of the Sakura Micron. I guess that's me going against the grain. And then for this month, I decided to give trackers another try. I'm using my new Everyday Explorer stamp set to make the trackers. And I may be making trackers this month to justify the purchase of this stamp set. Just maybe. So the calendar is fixed in the positioning of the days 1 to 31st, and then there are 4 stars after it. I don't know what those 4 stars are for, but I'm not a fan of it. And also, since September only has 30 days, so I erased the 31st and all those 4 stars. So it's still a little tedious to make the calendar trackers, but not as tedious as what I've been doing before, where I manually draw them and manually write all the days of the month. And also, my daughter was very curious with what I was doing, so I was not stamping straight. And if it bothers you, I'm really sorry. And you can see how imperfectly I've stamped these. Some parts have lesser ink and they're not all lined up, and it's making me cringe. But I told myself, just deal with it, and it's part of learning and growing and part of bullet journaling. It can't be perfect, right? So for the perfectionists out there, I totally feel you. I'm so sorry this looks like this. Breathe with me. It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. It's just a journal, and I'm the only one that's gonna use it anyway. Okay, so next I'm stamping some squares. I need 5 squares for the 5 weeks of September, and this will be my tracker for my social media. The calendars that I stamped above are actually for my habit trackers. And then to keep with the theme, I also used ripped paper, distressed them, and put them in there. Used white jelly roll to write the titles. And then used my Unipen fine liners again to write the titles of each habit tracker. I don't know why I like my Unipen fine liners more than Sakura microns. A lot of people like the Sakura microns better, but I guess there's this bit of nostalgia there that I've been using Unipen fine liner since I was high school, so that's like almost 20 years ago. Anyway, next I'm making my finance tracker again. I haven't done this in 2 months, and I had to take out my other bullet journal, the first one for this year, to copy the layout that I've been using for the past years for my finance tracker. I didn't go over this tracker with a pen because my daughter has been so annoying and kept touching all my things and trying to get my attention. So I finally gave it to her. I just used pencil and told myself, okay, I'm done, and that's it. I actually have one more spread, but I wasn't able to film it. I'll just film a separate thing for it. Thank you for watching. Bye! Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and the bell button on the side to get notified of new videos.